Chapter 12 Tennis, Yachts, and Seduction. Still fuming after his meeting with Reverend Williams, James was eager to blow off some steam during his tennis match with Schoberg. When he awoke the following Saturday morning, his usual routine consisted of shaving, brushing his teeth, applying some pomade to his hair, and running a Pearson comb through it, then eating a slice of bread with butter, followed by 3 shots of espresso. That morning, James watched an airing of the McLaughlin Group and read some news articles about the approaching election, just to catch up on how one of the candidates from his high school alma mater was faring in the polls. He put on some khaki shorts with a white Lacoste polo and headed off to the yacht club in his black '89 BMW convertible, adorned with some adhesive to plug up tears in the soft top that James said gave the car character. James and Schoberg pulled into the lot at almost exactly the same time. Schoberg was dressed in white shorts and also had a white Lacoste polo shirt on, with a few stripes of color around the sleeves and collar. "Sup, James?" "Hey, Schoberg. You doing all right?" "I'm a little pissed off, but definitely ready to play some tennis." "Good. I like playing against a man with fire in his belly," Schoberg replied, as they turned and walked into the club to be assigned a court number. "Need a court number, Bobby," Schoberg said, approaching the counter. Gee, I don't know," Bobby replied. "We only got 19 courts, and seeing as how everybody wants to play at 12:30 in the afternoon in 98-degree temperatures, you might have to wait a bit." "Ha, thanks, Bobby. I love that dry wit of yours," Schoberg replied. "You can find us on court number 1. Go ahead and bring over a couple glasses of Kier." "Yes, sir," Bobby eagerly replied, as he ducked behind the bar. "Schoberg," James inquired, "did you just order us 2 glasses of Kier for our tennis match?" "Of course, James. I don't play tennis without drinking. I was presumptuous in ordering you one as well, but seeing as how you seem to be suffering from a bout of intense malaise, I took the liberty." "You play tennis at midday and drink alcohol during your match?" "Yeah, why not? People play golf at midday while drinking." "People are truly going to think us madmen, Schoberg." "James, believe me, we are madmen. Let's not try to hide that fact, shall we?" James thought for a moment, while they walked to court number 1, before responding. "Well, that's a good point, actually, and I'm really starting to look forward to this match. As am I." The 2 friends arrived at court number 1, which was the court of choice for tennis players at the yacht club, being closest to the clubhouse, with some bleachers that other members could use to come and spectate at their leisure. The 2 friends opened the gate to the court, stepped in, and looked around. "Wow," Schoberg said. "What happened here?" "Ah," James replied. "Looks like those high winds last night, coming in off the Chesapeake Bay, threw a lot of debris on the court. I had to pull a small branch off my car this morning, myself." "Is this normal in Norfolk?" "Quite normal." "No matter, James. Here comes Bobby with our gears." "Here you are, gentlemen," Bobby said graciously, handing off the 2 glasses to their recipients. "Thank you, Bobby," Schoberg replied, throwing his gaze round the court. "But it seems as if this club is in the process of converting this hard court into a grass one." Bobby looked at the twigs, grass and dirt blown onto the court from the windstorm. "Ah, yes, so it appears." "Bobby," Schoberg perked up, "here's an extra large tip today. If you wouldn't mind tidying up a bit while James and I chat on the bleachers." As Schoberg said this, he discreetly passed some folded up bills from his hand into Bobby's, who didn't even bother to look at the amount, before responding in the affirmative, knowing Schoberg to be a man of his word. As Bobby made for the large court sweeper in one direction, James and Schoberg made for the bleachers in the opposite, Kiers in hand. The two friends had the following conversation while roasting underneath the blazing sun, waiting for the court to be ready. So, James, how was your week? Shit week. You didn't go to church with Philip on Sunday? Nah, I did. And? I rather wish I hadn't. I just wanted to see a teacher I used to have up at St. Albans. Yeah? I was just going to have a friendly chat with him, and the guy started laying into me about all my character flaws. I mean, what the hell? Maybe he was just trying to give you some constructive feedback, like you were one of his pupils again. The guy's always been an arrogant jerk. But anyways, as for the rest of my week, I just got assigned a bunch of junk, larceny, and burglary cases. Like, I've been there for over 5 years now, and the only really big case I had was back in '96. The one that was overshadowed because the trial was on the same day as the Unabomber was arrested. I'm never going to make a public name for myself unless I score some really high profile cases. Yeah, I can see why you're frustrated. Thank you, Schoberg, James sighed. You're a good friend. It's such a relief to just be able to talk and vent without having someone get all preachy. Oh, no problem, James. I know how tiresome it can be to have someone pointing the finger at me every time I'm in a bad spot. The way I handle things when life isn't going my way is to start interrogating myself. Interrogating yourself? Yes, like I say to myself, okay, Schoberg, you're really pissed off about this or that, but what am I doing to try and change the situation? What's my part in it? What can I do to improve my own standing in life? And that keeps me focused on the solution rather than the obstacle. Not bad, Schoberg, James replied, in contemplation, while taking a long sip from his Kier, before speaking again. Hey, these Kiers are pretty good. Yeah, I like them. I find they complement a tennis match well. But hey, James, one positive thing. I think there might be some kind of a spark between you and Cassandra. At this utterance of that name, James immediately turned his head towards Schoberg. What makes you say that? James replied, clearly feigning ignorance. Ha! I saw the way you two were exchanging glances with one another last Saturday night. Why, you practically became mute for the remainder of the evening, once she entered the room. Geez, I don't know about that, Schoberg. She seemed so unattainable. Plus, she already had her name in the news quite a few times for some really big cases, sex crimes at that. Detective Davis, my buddy in the NPD, was telling me about her. He also works some interjurisdictional human trafficking cases in Virginia Beach occasionally. Apparently, the woman is an absolute terror in the courtroom. We are destined to be rivals. Yes, James, and there's nothing like sleeping with the enemy. James smiled, gazing into his Kier before responding. She wouldn't go for someone like me, anyways. She's probably got some billionaire boyfriend already who swoops in here every now and then, whisking her away to some paradise. Or she's probably even a lesbian. Yeah, that's it. She doesn't even like dudes. You're so full of shit, James. You can tell, as well as I can, from her deportment, she adores men, the power she wields over them, her coyness. That's what gives her pleasure. She's a huntress. It's the thrill of the chase she loves, not the kill. By God, you're right, Schoberg. I know you're right. This woman will be the death of me. I knew it when I first locked eyes with her back in '96. Yeah, but I'd trade my soul for a single night with Cleopatra. Oh, come now, you're already married, and to a wealthy woman at that. Meh, I'm still human, and to err is to be human. Well put, my friend. At this moment, there was a pause. Bobby looked over at the two and yelled from across the court. Almost clear, guys. The conversation between the two friends resumed once more. James, Schoberg started to pack up. Even if something does happen between you and Cassandra, the Huntress will certainly toy with you, I do believe. So, what I'm suggesting is that you should really take more advantage of some of your natural attributes in the meantime, and in the hereafter. You mean like get a steady girlfriend or something? No, I mean just have some fun. Nothing serious, that's all I'm suggesting. Well, I always figured I'd become successful first, then let women destroy me. There's no point in bringing down someone who's already low. Lightning doesn't like small trees. Proverbs. And there's some wisdom in that, Prudence, but life is short and unpredictable. Besides, a woman here or there might loosen you up a bit and be good for you. Even lone wolves cross paths on occasion. Before James could respond, the conversation was terminated by Bobby giving a thumbs up and saying, "All clear, gents," as he placed the sweeper against the fence and walked off towards the clubhouse. Good, now let's get this match going, Schoberg said, leaping with enthusiasm. The two friends jumped off the bleachers, swiftly consuming the remaining Kier in their glasses. Schoberg held up his index finger and pinky, motioning to Bobby with a knowing look. The game started in earnest, right off the bat, underneath the hot Virginia sun. The friends exchanged fierce volleys and went evenly point for point, game for game. Schoberg resumed the conversation as the two played and chatted simultaneously. "So, you just get stuck with those burglary and larceny cases?" Schoberg asked, grunting into a backhand. "Yep, that chief deputy Commonwealth's attorney never cared for me," James replied, while dispensing a sly little short shot. "I did well under Harrison when I first started, but ever since '97, he hasn't been engaged as much. He delegates more and more work to his chief dep." "Sucks, man," Schoberg replied, lunging at the ball, tapping it just over the net on James's right side to win the first set. "Nice shot, man," James acknowledged as the two took in deep breaths, meeting each other at midcourt and wiping large beads of sweat forming on their brows with their polos. "So why are larcenies and burglaries so bad?" Schoberg inquired. "They aren't the glamorous cases, meaning they won't make the news no matter what, unless it's some huge daring heist or something like that, which almost never happens anymore. And when it does, the feds pick it up." "I see. But you had that weird burglary a little while back with that guy you mentioned earlier, didn't you?" "Yeah, Davis?" "Yeah, Detective Davis. Actually, he was still an officer at the time. He made detective shortly after that." "Whatever happened with that?" "You began to tell me once when we first met here at the club, but we got interrupted. I went back to Geneva and forgot about it." "Yeah, I can tell you about it, but it's a bit of a long story. No matter, here's Bobby coming with two more Kiers. We can rest on the bleachers, and you can tell the tale. I love a good mystery." The two friends sat on the bleachers, Kiers in hand, and the story was told.